Central and Northern Asia, Asia's inner circle. From the windswept deserts of Turkmenistan to the bullet trains of Japan, the vast heart of Asia is more than a patchwork of names ending in "stan." This is the story of ancient civilizations, modern revolutions, and a complex present where tradition and transformation collide. Today, we explore 11 nations, from Russia and Mongolia in the north, to the "stan" countries of Central Asia and the powerhouses of East Asia, Japan, North Korea, and South Korea. One region, many realities. This region is massive. Geography and climate are massively different, stretching from the Pacific to the Caspian, from Siberia to the Himalayas. In Russia, the world's largest country spans 11 time zones, with tundra in the north, taiga forests in Siberia, and steppes in the south. Mongolia is vast and empty, a land of high plains, mountains, and extreme weather. Winters here can plunge to negative 40 degrees Fahrenheit. The stands are defined by rugged mountain ranges, arid deserts, and fertile river valleys, especially in Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, and Kyrgyzstan. In contrast, Japan, South Korea, and North Korea sit on tectonically active islands and peninsulas shaped by volcanoes, tsunamis, and monsoon cycles. The geography and climate amongst these countries form the way each of these societies work. As for religion, religious identity across these nations is layered and diverse. Islam dominates Central Asia and Afghanistan, practiced alongside ancient traditions and Sufi mysticism. Mongolia and Russia blend Tibetan Buddhism, shamanism, and Orthodox Christianity. In North Korea, religion is virtually outlawed, replaced by the personality cult of the Kim dynasty. South Korea and Japan are spiritual mosaics, blending Buddhism, Confucianism, Christianity, and in Japan's case, Shintoism, which reverses the spirits of nature. Culturally, the region is a masterpiece of contrasts. Eagle hunters in Kyrgyzstan, tea ceremonies in Kyoto, mass dances in Seoul, and throat singing in Mongolia. Despite modernization, traditional arts, festivals, and folklore, these remain essential to national identity. Politics across this vast region swing from tightly controlled regimes to vibrant democracies, with everything in between. Russia, led by Vladimir Putin since 1998 with a brief swap in 2008, is an authoritarian state cloaked in democratic institutions. Putin maintains strong domestic support through nationalism and control of the narrative. In Mongolia, we see a parliamentary democracy, rare in this region. It holds free elections, though corruption and economic dependency on China and Russia are major concerns. The country has peaceful transitions of power, and recent years have seen public protests demanding better governance and environmental protections. Kazakhstan transitioned from Nursultan Nazarbayev's 30-year rule to Kassym-Jomart Tokayev, though many argue the old elite still pulls the strings. In 2022, deadly protests over fuel prices turned into anti-government unrest. Tokayev cracked down hard with Russian military assistance. Since then, he's promised reform, but critics often question how deep they go. In Kyrgyzstan, the most politically volatile of the stands, has seen 3 revolutions since 2005. It has a mix of democracy and authoritarianism. Elections happen, but power often shifts through unrest. In 2020, protests over rigged elections led to the rise of current president Sadir Japarov, who has since centralized the power. In Uzbekistan, long ruled by the iron-fisted Islam Karimov, Uzbekistan is now led by Shavkat Mirziyoyev, who began cautious liberalization after 2016. Political prisoners were released, censorship erased, and tourism reopened. But real opposition is still blocked, and power remains tightly held. One of the most secretive and repressive countries in the world, Turkmenistan. Former President Gurbanguly Berdimuhamedov handed power to his son Sardar in 2022, a rare dynastic transition in modern politics. The regime controls all media, internet access is nearly non-existent, and a bizarre cult of personality surrounds the leadership. Under Emomali Rahmon, in power since 1992, Tajikistan is a personalist autocracy. Opposition parties are banned, and the country is drifting into dynastic rule. Rahman's son is widely seen as his successor. The state suppresses Islamists and journalists alike, often under the pretense of national security. Since the United States' withdrawal in 2021, the Taliban controls Afghanistan again, enforcing strict Islamic law. Girls' education beyond 6th grade is banned. Media is muzzled, dissent crushed, and the economy has collapsed under sanctions and isolation. Japan is a constitutional monarchy with parliamentary democracy. The emperor holds symbolic power, but the elected prime minister runs the government. Dominated by the Liberal Democratic Party, Japan is stable, though it faces challenges like political apathy and a shrinking population. Rising tensions with China and North Korea have sparked debates over military expansion. Society across the region mirrors its geography, isolated in some parts, hyper-connected in others. Japan and South Korea are global tech leaders, with aging populations and youth facing extreme academic pressure. Japan and South Korea both utilize social media and technology to captivate the world through Korea's K-pop and Japan's J-pop anime. Russia grapples with rural depopulation and brain drain, even as Moscow thrives. With the shift towards an authoritarian dictatorship at the hands of Putin, Russia is actively engaged in war and is politically an adversary to the United States. Mongolia is still largely rural, with a third of its people living nomadically. The nomadic people live a seasonal lifestyle, following the herds of cattle as the seasons change. In the Stan countries, a post-Soviet identity is still forming, with younger generations caught between modernity, nationalism, and old power structures. Languages tell part of the story. Russian is still spoken widely in Central Asia. Turkic languages unite much of the region, from Kazakh to Uzbek. Mongolian, Korean, and Japanese are unrelated to one another, but fiercely preserved. And in Afghanistan, Pashto and Dari reflect deeper historical divisions. The heart of Asia is beating faster than ever. China's Belt and Road Initiative links Central Asia to the global markets. South Korean culture, from K-pop cinema, influences the world. Japan leads in robotics and design. Russia remains a military power. Mongolia is pivoting toward renewables. And the Stan countries, while authoritarian in parts, are finding their voices, especially among youth. The future of this region isn't just about power struggles. It's about how 2 billion people live, dream, and shape the global order from within. This vast part of the world is often defined by what it's not. It is not China, it is not the West, it's not the Middle East, but it is something important. It's a space of rising powers and quiet revolutions, of memory and movement, of contradiction, tension, and breathtaking beauty. This is Asia's inner circle.